If you are watching this video, that means you are trying to install downpipes or an exhaust on your 2023 Nissan Z, and let's just be honest, it sucks. It is probably the worst thing you'll ever do in your garage on a Saturday with your friends that you think will take a day, and you won't be done in a day. So we figured we would help because we're probably the third video that's ever actually talked about this, and we thought we'd just give you our advice because we put downpipes on the Nissan Z.
This one
right here, behind us. We didn't have access to a full suite of tools, and as you can see in front of us, it looks like we're, I don't know, like, are you gonna sell me some of this stuff? I feel like I'm at a pawn shop.
The antique roadshow.
So if you guys are wondering, and if you want to get an exhaust for your Nissan Z, go get it over at MartiniWorks, where you're gonna have the FI exhaust here. We also have Borla exhaust, some other options for the 23 Nissan Z, but if you are looking for car parts, mod your car at MartiniWorks. All right, so we're gonna give you probably, I would say, some top tips when you're going to remove the downpipe, some things just to keep in mind while you're in there, then coming out. Deal?
Absolutely.
All right, Jels, where do you want to start? Because you probably spent more time on this than I did.
Yeah, so the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to start, obviously, disconnecting the primary cats from the secondary cats. So these primary ones are the little ones you see here. These ones are that are attached to the actual turbos of the car. These are the real pain in the butt ones to get to. So if you're just doing secondary downpipes or secondary cats, not too bad. Either way, you're going to have to disconnect those. You're going to need one of these bad boys. This is like the longest extension that we can find.
Right there.
There's a 24-inch extension, and we still had to run like a deep well socket and things like that. So you're gonna go from the top of the engine bay. You're gonna take the longest extension. We got a 24-inch here, deep well socket. Passenger side has 2 of them that you're gonna access from the top. The driver side has 1, since there's only 3 bolts on this, 2 on this. So 2, 1.
Now, I will say it is, I don't know who at Nissan is deciding to torque these things down, but it seems like some stuff is torqued to like 60 foot-pounds of torque, and some is about 6,000 foot-pounds of torque. So the top, when you're coming through the top and you've got the extension down there, it is going to be very tight.
You're gonna feel like you're gonna break something.
Yes, 100%. I found a lot of success. We took actually the jack bar, we put that on it, and we just slowly leaned into it.
Yeah, you put all your weight on it.
Now, if you are going and you're starting with the downpipes versus maybe trying to do the whole exhaust, I'd recommend that anything you have connected to that stuff, you get completely removed. Get that out of the way. You're gonna have no fun trying to play around with an exhaust pipe right next to the header that you're trying to take out.
Absolutely.
Right? So get that out of the way if you can. And then once we're down underneath, you are going to experience what I would like to call legendary mode, and that is these things. What are these?
Those are going to be the bane of your existence. These are the heat shields that surround not only the secondary but the primary cats. So yeah, the secondary ones you can get out relatively easy. Like I said, you attack those top bolts from the top. There's either 1 or 2 depending on which side you're on from the bottom. You disconnect, you got to reach up kind of in there, disconnect the O2 sensor. You can just disconnect the wire and you can drop these out relatively easily. Where the really hard part comes in is getting to these primary catalytic converters. This is where everything just tends to go wrong, because you have these heat shields, and you can see like we have these ones here, but there's still heat shields on these. They're like 3 or 4 parts each, and they're all connected by these random 10mm bolts. So you think that's not too bad, but you're working in a very, very, very confined space that you're not able to get wrenches on, because these things have so many like valleys and crevasses in them. So nothing seats right. Even if you were to get something on it, you have like no room to move it. It is just a pain in the butt.
I think a lot of the reason people haven't covered taking these out is because it's so hard to get in there to show you what it all looks like. There's so much metal, and there's so many heat shields, and there's so many different ways to get to the bolts. I think the key thing we want to tell you in this video specifically is you will notice that there are heat shields that will come out, and then there will be heat shields that just don't seem to come out. The latter of the two are typically these ones. And you just got to get those ones out of the way, because none of this you cannot access this bolt from anywhere underneath or above the car. Yeah,
even though we only got a few of them out, that was all we needed. I would say going back and doing it again, I wouldn't even mess with them for as long as we did, but we didn't know. So now we can say, like, get the ones out that you can, and if you have visibility to the heat shields that surround the turbo where that V-band is, just like I said, take those bolts out on the bottom, spread it out of the way. You can bend them back really easy. It's just aluminum, but just get those out of the way as much as possible. Open up, and you should be able to access that V-band, because if we would have just done that right away, I think we would have saved ourselves a lot of time.
Now, I will say, taking the heat shields out, throwing the FI race cats on, we have a separate set of cats from FI exhaust.
These are the high flow ones.
Are the high flow, so you can actually see the cats in there. We chose to go with the full free flowing, number 1. We live in Wisconsin, so it just allows us to. But number 2, the Z's really quiet from factory. factory. And so we wanted to make sure that no matter what, we could hear that turbo. I will say it sounds a million times better, the FI exhaust, from like just a mounting and fabrication and assembly perspective. Super quality stuff. Absolutely love the install. It was very, very easy to do. Everything lined up fantastic. But without heat shields and the fact that that's a twin turbo, 3-liter, 400 horsepower, high temp behemoth with heat exchangers that still likes to get warm, we would recommend going and getting some heat wrap for it.
Yeah, definitely. So we did that with the ones that we put in. We wrapped both the primary and secondary down pipes with it, and I think that'll help a ton.
Once you're in there though, and you got it all changed, putting the actual new cats in, the uppers, the lowers, you know, all that sort of good stuff, it's actually relatively easy assembly to put back. The biggest tip that I would give you though is any sort of bracing or material you took off to get access to the V-band to get those down pipes out, put those back on before you throw the new down pipes in. Because a lot of times that is supposed to go above the down pipes because it's mostly heat shield or bracing stuff, and that's not sitting below the downpipe. So just keep that in mind. You're gonna be really excited because you'll probably be spending hours or days on this, that you're just gonna wanna do it all right away. Try to get all that stuff put back before you go and throw the downpipes in. Last tip we'll give you before you go off and keep at it is, you know, once you have the parts, you know, once you have all the tools and you're underneath there and you're kind of getting at it, you know, a lot of times it's super frustrating. Just take a second. You're doing it right. It's actually not. Nissan does a really good job at not making it like complicated. It's a difficult removal, but it's not a complicated removal. And I think that's one of the key things that a lot of people, so far at least we've seen in the videos, I think has tried to kind of say without saying it. A lot of them have skipped that. It's not a tough thing to do. It's just
you're loosening bolts at the end of it.
Literally, they're still the same size as everything else. They're still there. But when you go into it, the last assumption I think we made that might help you when you're doing this install as well is the driver's side and the passenger side are not symmetrical. For some reason or another, I don't know why I assume that. I think I always assume that. I think I just did for this, but they're not. And so when you go underneath there, the thing that we did with the gasket or how the things were mounted underneath there, how many heat shields even needed to be played around with, it changes by driver's side or passenger side.
Driver's side is easier.
Yes, 100% though. Worth it if you're looking to have a properly sounding Nissan Z. If you guys have any questions on downpipe installation, you can drop it below. Obviously over at MartiniWorks, we have a bunch of different exhaust options for the Z. We actually put the FI exhaust on the website specifically because we put it on the Z itself. So that's where we're probably gonna push you if you are looking for one, just because we have so much experience on it. And plus, with all the different exhausts that are probably gonna come to market, I will say this is one of those installs where the very last thing you want is a bad fitting downpipe or bad fitting exhaust, because it is a pain in the ass to get up there. So FI did a really great job with this system.
Everything fit really nice.
Not saying the other ones don't, but we just have the experience with this one. So if you guys are looking for one, I'm probably gonna recommend this one. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for subscribing, Gels. Thank you for cutting up your hands, losing 3, fingers, and wanting to cry at least 6 times, because I wanted to do the same. We'll see you later, right?
Sounds good.
It does sound pretty good. We'll put a clip at the end so you can hear it. All right, talk to you guys later. Bye.